Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. EDA, March 15th, 2021. Roughly, what time is it? It's 6:45, roughly. 6:44. Call it to order. Roll call. We have Leon Deach here. Harley, Mayor. Joel Kraus and Walt Bowler for the City Council. Betty Bergstrom, Interim Administrator. Public Works Director Ted Brokaw. We got Emma Rudd in the back. And Lisa, I don't know why I can't think of your name. It's Lisa, right? What's your last name? Riz. Okay. Did I get everybody?
I think so.
Okay. So we got a roll call and we got audience. Nobody in the audience. New business. Moving on to new business. This is going to go fast. New business. Consider COVID stopgap deferred loan program applications. Hanson's Outpost. And you want to talk about it, Betty?
I can. Commissioners, what we have in front of you is back, it's been a couple months ago now that you agreed to do this stopgap deferred loan program for organizations that are affected by the COVID-19. It is a interest-free loan to them from the EDA, maximum amount of $9,600, and the repayment does not start until January 1 of 2022. And I believe that if this committee approves, looking at their application, approves them, then there would be a second mortgage document that the city attorney would prepare to be placed on and against their property in order to secure if there was a default. So Laura Hanson of Hanson's Outpost has completed the application, has given you her financials and different things that are confidential. That's why you had it in your packet. Her name obviously is not confidential as of this meeting. The name isn't, but the supporting documents are there. I guess it's open for you guys for discussion.
Well, first, do we need a motion, Betty, for this? So that we can go into discussion, or can we just go into discussion?
You can go into discussion.
Okay. Would anybody like to have discussion on this?
I'm comfortable with making a motion to approve, given the set of terms that was outlined in the document provided.
Okay, so we got a motion by Harley.
I'll second.
And we have a second. Any more discussion?
I would just, if I may.
Yeah.
I would just say that this is not what I had initially intended when what I had thought of as what would come in for something like this, because they have announced publicly that they are closed. And with that being said, in my mind, I wouldn't have thought that we would be giving a loan to a business that's closed. But given the nature of what they're requesting, to pay some of their taxes and to pay some of their costs that they have to incur until the building sells, it makes sense to me. If we have the first or second position on the loan, when the building sells, we receive our money back interest free. There's no liability, as I understand it, to the city. Again, this isn't something I would have thought of a way of funding something, but it does make sense, and it gives these guys an opportunity to kind of whittle through until they sell the building and be able to move on and hopefully have that building operate as a business in the future.
Okay, anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, and I believe this is the first loan. This is the first loan from a program that we first talked about last fall. So, yeah, I too, when the former administrator and I kind of sat down and really started looking at this as the former chair of this committee, I didn't necessarily see that this is what it was going to be at all, but I agree with Commissioner Droba that this is a good move if it'll help get somebody else in there and kind of kickstart the process.
Anybody else? Discussion? So we have a motion by Harley to approve the consideration and move on with it, with the loan. We have a second with Leon. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 5-0. And that looks like that's the whole agenda, unless somebody else has got anything. Harley, you got anything?
I have a question. So how does this work now that it's approved? Do they, I mean, what is the time frame of them receiving the funds? I mean, what does this look like from here?
We would now forward this to the city attorney to prepare the documentation for the second mortgage.
Okay.
And once that is complete and approved and signed off by the individuals, then we would be preparing the check for them.
Okay.
Yeah, and creating a loan the loan process for them.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And we did have one other individual or other business in the community started the packet, and we never did hear back from them. They did call and ask some questions on it, so we may see something in the near future, but they had not returned the call or even called today, as of today, to move that forward. So you might see something coming forward in the future.
Okay.
So is this going to be a common thing then, that we would have a special EDA meeting after a city council meeting if they come in?
If they come in and it's not close to a regular meeting, since the EDA only meets quarterly.
Right.
That is simply why we, did what we did to expedite the process.
Yep.
And that's okay with all of you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can I add that one of the important distinctions about this loan program versus like the federal and the state loan programs is we do not have the restrictions for use that other, I mean, you can see here that they're going to use it to pay property taxes and other things. Like, we don't have the reporting that those other loans do, where you have to show like you use it exactly for, because it goes as a second mortgage. It's there. We know they're good for it, so it doesn't. I'd like to point out, if there's anybody listening, that this is a good program, and it's zero interest and really low payments. So if you own a business and you're in trouble, it's a good program.
All right, so this was a special meeting to get this done. We got an EDA meeting in April coming, right? It's quarterly, right?
The second meeting in April. That is correct.
All
yes.
Right. So it'll be coming up fast again.
Mm-hmm. So if there's applications or people out there that are interested, we can definitely have it on that second meeting in April very easily.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's all there is, no more, we adjourn the meeting.